Okay, we're still looking at quadratic relations. How do you know when a parabola, the graph, hits the x-axis? The x-intercept is the point where the parabola crosses the x-axis. So at this point, y is equal to 0, right? The coordinate of this point is 2 and 0, and where does it hit it here? Is that -2? -2 and 0. The two x-intercepts of this relation are 2 and -2. What is the x-intercept of B? Where does it hit the x-axis? Where does it cross through the x-axis? At what point? 1, 0, okay? When y is 0, that will tell you the x-intercept. So what about C? Does it cross through the x-axis? So we would say none. The x-intercepts of this relation are none. It's possible that it never hits the x-axis. When a quadratic relation is written in factored form, it looks like this. Y equals something multiplied by x minus r multiplied by x minus s. These numbers that we put here refer to the x-intercepts, okay? So for example, if I give you this as an example, the quadratic relation y equals x minus 1 bracket x plus 2. What is r in this example? Which numbers are? 1. It's positive 1 actually, because it's x take away r. So my r is just 1. And then x take away s. What is s then? It's got to be a -2 because, good, x take away -2, yep. X take away -2 becomes x plus 2, right? So what do you notice about the signs? They're always the opposite. So if I were to ask you, if I give you this as an example and I say, what are the two x-intercepts? Well, we know it's going to intercept at 1 and -2. It's just the opposite integer. Looking at the exact same example, okay, the reason this works is because, remember we just talked about when the parabola hits the x-axis, y is 0, right? In order for it to have an x-intercept, y has to be 0. So this means that x minus 1 equals, change this to 0, and x plus 2, my two factors, equals 0. Well, if you were to rearrange this, what happens to the -1? It becomes, bring it over, it becomes positive 1, and positive 2 becomes -2. Same answer, opposite integers. X-intercepts are positive 1 and -2. Okay, I'm just showing you a different way of solving this. Well, we have one factor here, right? This is in factored form. So -2x equals 0 when y is 0. And then we have x minus 6 equals 0, right? Those are the two factors. All I'm doing is replacing y with 0. So let's start with this one. If x take away 6 is 0, what's x? Positive 6. So that's one x-intercept. How do I isolate x here? -2x. If I divide this by -2, that cancels out. You're always doing the opposite. What do I have to do to the right side? Divide by -2. What's 0 divided by anything? 0. So the two x-intercepts for this are 0 and 6. So again, we have x minus 6. That's one factor. Make that equal to 0. And the other one, x plus 6 equals 0. So if x take away 6 is 0, x is equal to positive 6. And here x is equal to -6. So again, this one has two x-intercepts. The two x-intercepts are 6 and -6.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.